Welcome to this video. We're going to discuss in this particular video positive law and the United States Code. Now you have to forgive me, I've been up all night studying. Hopefully I won't leave anything out, but if I do, of course, it's always up to you to complete the research. But here's what I found out, and it's really eye-opening for me, as I'll share with you here some of the things that I found out. So anyway, we're talking about the United States Code. Good thing for you to understand is what the geographical definition of United States actually means. A lot of people just automatically assume that they are in the United States and that they are a United States citizens, which 99% of the time they're incorrect. However, because we don't know any better, or we have not educated ourselves better to the actual definition, then of course the authorities and those in government and who you interact with, they presume that you are a United States citizen and they treat you accordingly. Okay? Statutes, laws, ordinances, acts, etc., etc. So let's take a look here. I'm actually on the website United States Government Printing Office, and this is gpo.gov, and here is where it gives you a definition of United States Code. Let's make this just a little bit bigger here so we can read it really good. I'm not going to read all of it, but I'll read the first paragraph and then the pertinent information here. The United States Code is the codification by subject matter of the general and permanent laws of the United States. It is divided by broad subjects into titles. Let's make it a little smaller so I don't have to scroll. Titles, and published by the Office of Law Revision Council of the U.S. House of Representatives. The U.S. Code was first published in 1926. The next main edition was published in 1934, and subsequent main editions have been published every 6 years since 1934. In between editions, annual cumulative supplements are published in order to present the most current information. Now, here's the paragraph that I really want to read to you. That is, of the 51 titles, the following titles have been enacted into positive statutory law. Okay? And of course we know if you have done things properly with your status, you do not have to consent to statutory law. However, that's a whole nother video. I just want to share some eye-opening things that I found out. Even if you are within that United States jurisdiction, you are a federal citizen, you are a 14th Amendment citizen, there are still some things that you may not be aware of that's not positive law that could be oppressing you. Anyway, of the 51 titles, the following titles have been enacted into positive statutory law, and then it shows you the positive law and the titles. Okay? Now these are in sequential order. Here's your first test right here. Do you see Title 26 anywhere in here? Now again, this is listing out positive law. Just gave you the definition. Well, I'll expound on that definition here in a little bit. But do you see Title 26 anywhere in here? No, do not. It's not positive law. Well, what is Title 26? Let's go over here to Cornell University Law School. And let me go back here. I was looking up some other things. Let's go back. Okay. Alright, so we're at the table of contents for the United States Code. You scroll down here, it's in sequential order. Title 26, is the Internal Revenue Code, which is what the IRS uses. However, according to GPO.gov, which is the government printing office, exposing the positive statutory law, Title 26 is not positive law. So let's continue with this paragraph right here. When a title of the code was enacted into positive law, the text of the title became legal evidence of the law. Titles that have not been enacted into positive law are only prima facie evidence of the law. In that case, the statutes at large still govern. Okay. And let's take a look at, I'm going to do a separate video on statutes at large. However, I'll just show you here the site, and the link to this site is memory.loc.gov, and a couple of documents that you will want to include in your studies are the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, the Constitution of the United States, and also include in your study the Northwest Ordinance. Those documents are, I don't know what you would call it, but it's the original law in original jurisdiction. Everything that's in law, that's positive law, has been derived from those 4 documents. Okay, so let's go back here and let's dissect here this sentence where it says titles that have not been enacted into positive law are only prima facie evidence of the law. What does that mean? Prima facie evidence. Well, I'm going to look in my legal dictionary here. I'm actually looking in Black's Law. I have Bouvier's online, but this will suffice for the video. You can cross-reference it in whatever dictionary you choose. But let's pull this up here. Prima facie evidence. So what is prima facie evidence? What does that mean? Well, according to Black's 6, prima facie evidence is evidence good and sufficient on its face. Such evidence as, in the judgment of the law, is sufficient to establish a given fact, or the group or chain of facts constituting the party's claim or defense, and which, if not rebutted or contradicted, will remain sufficient. Evidence which, if unexplained or uncontradicted, is sufficient to sustain a judgment in favor of the issue which it supports, but which may be contradicted by other evidence. So basically what this definition is saying is, if I throw a claim out there and it's sufficient enough, it sounds good, sounds, logical, it's not rebutted, it's not contradicted, then that can be my evidence to support whatever claim that I'm claiming against you. Does that not sound like Title 26, Internal Revenue Code? You can also look at State versus Harimza 213, I believe that's Kansas 201 515 P 2nd 1217, 1222. Very interesting. So again, you know what prima facie evidence means. It's not contradicted, it's not rebutted. So you're getting your IRS notices saying, hey, you owe this amount of taxes, and we see here clearly it's not positive law, regardless to if you're a 14th Amendment citizen or not. This is just one point in relation to the fact that the people cannot be taxed. So it says again, titles that have not been enacted into positive law are only prima facie evidence of the law. So that means by what authority you need to rebut or contradict if you're dealing with certain issues where individuals are asserting a claim against you, have them to prove that in law. Okay, I'm not going to go any further into that. Again, that's a whole nother video as well, just talking about taxes. But let's look here at positive statutory law. Let's go to that definition. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay. What is positive law codification? Positive law codification is the process of preparing and enacting, one title at a time, a revision and restatement of the general and permanent laws of the United States. Again, still talking about the United States. Remember those geographical territories. Because many of the general and permanent laws that are required to be incorporated into the United States Code are inconsistent, redundant, and obsolete. The Office of the Law Revision Council of the House of Representatives has been engaged in a continuing comprehensive project authorized by law to revise and codify for enactment into positive law each title of the code. When this project is completed, all the titles of the code will be legal evidence of the general and permanent, but it's still legal evidence in the United States territories. So legal evidence of the general and permanent laws and recourse to the numerous volumes of the United States statutes at large for this purpose will no longer be necessary. Positive law codification bills prepared by the office do not change the meaning or legal effect of a statute being revised and restated. Rather, the purpose is to remove ambiguities, contradictions, and other imperfections from the law. For more information about the process of positive law codification, generally see the brochure. Now we're going to click on that and we're going to see that brochure here in just a little bit, but I want to show you this. Current positive law codification projects of the office. This is what they're working on right now, basically. This is what's on the table to be codified into positive law. Title 35, 36, 41, 51, some new ones here, 52 through 55. Is 26 anywhere in there? Again, people, educate yourself. Okay, so let's click and look at the brochure. Now, here is the brochure. Just go a little bit deeper to the information. Okay, we just read all that. Here's a quick summary. Positive law codification. These are the bullets. Restates existing law, nothing new. Enacts existing law as a positive law title. Approves organization, removes obsolete provisions, corrects technical errors. Okay. Okay, make that a little bigger. Okay. Positive law title. A federal statute. A federal statute for federal citizens in the United States territory. Non-positive law title. An editorial compilation of federal statutes. Okay, this is what Title 26 operates under, non-positive law title. Remember, says it operates based upon prima facie evidence, and we read the definition of what prima facie evidence is. It's basically, evidence, if not contradicted or whatever, supports the claim. Okay? Now, let's look at editorial compilation. Okay? always look at the root word of words to get the meaning. So if you look at the root word of editorial, it's editor, sorry. It actually is edit, but we're going to look up editor. See, if I wouldn't have been so sleepy and tired, I would have had this stuff bookmarked, but there you go. Editor. Okay, editor. One who directs or supervises the policies, content, and contributions of a newspaper, magazine, book, work of reference, or the like. The term is held to include not only the person who writes, edits, or selects the articles for publication, but he who publishes a paper and puts it in circulation. Okay, so whoever edited the Internal Revenue stuff, they're the ones that this definition is talking about. And then compilation, root word of that is compile, and that's pretty much, to put together. Okay, so non-positive law title is an editorial compilation of federal statutes. Need to know these definitions. Okay, let's go. It's one more great thing. Now let's look at the benefits of positive law codification. The process of positive law codification yields a number of benefits for the courts, Congress, federal agencies, the private bar, and all who use or refer to federal statutory law. Now, just in this sentence alone tells you sometimes you have to read what's not written to get a great understanding. And what I read, which was not written here, is where it says here, and all who use or refer to federal statutory law. So if it was mandatory and something that every individual had to abide by, why does it say, and all who use or refer to federal statutory law? Why didn't it just say everybody? Everybody, because this is something that you're mandated to do, you're supposed to do. Because that's not the truth. We have rights to contract, therefore we have rights not to contract. Okay? Alright, so here's what I really want to read out of this section is legal evidence from the benefits of positive law codification. Provisions set out in non-positive law titles of the United States Code are merely, again, same definition, prima facie evidence of the actual law. However, once those provisions are enacted as a positive law title of the United States Code, the provisions as set out in the code constitute legal evidence of the law in all federal and state courts. Very good. Very good. So basically, this gives you really some information that you can sink your teeth into. Of course, this short video is not going to give you everything that you need. However, it should have opened up your eyes to some various things, and especially when you are dealing with positive law and that is not positive law, and understanding your status and understanding or overstanding the definition of United States and what that entails in those geographical federal territories. Another thing that stood out for me was in sometimes writing affidavits or lawful notifications or judicial notifications, sometimes we refer to United States codes and the titles. And some people say, "Oh, don't quote titles, don't quote case law or anything like that because you consent to the jurisdiction. That could be true. So one of the things that I do is I make sure that I include a maxim in whatever contract I'm writing. And one of my maxims pretty much states something like this: any reference to United States codes or case law does not consent me to your jurisdiction. It's only a reference to the fiduciaries and those public officials that I may be speaking to, something of that nature. So that's a maxim that I'll have in my particular contract. So whatever it is, affidavit, no, it's a contract, okay? And then another thing that stood out for me is when reading this and studying this and what the titles are that are of positive law, those are the ones that I will reference. Because remember, the other ones, the titles that have not been enacted into positive law, are only prima facie evidence of the law. So hopefully this video kind of opened your eyes up. If you'd like to dig a little bit deeper, join our educational portal. You can definitely do that. We're over at truewealthsociety.com. And we're also we're on TalkShoe. We have a channel there where we do weekly public calls. And that website or that link is truewealthsociety.com/talk show. So that's it for now. I'll see you in another video. Take care. Peace and blessings.